It's now my honor and pleasure to introduce our commencement keynote speaker and author, Greg Bell. Greg infuses everything he does with passion and humor, and specializes in working to transform both people and organizations. Greg is the author of Water the Bamboo, Unleashing the Potential of Teams and Individuals. He's also a certified speaking professional, the highest earned designation for the National Speakers Association and the International Federation of Professional Speakers. Only 10% of speakers have earned this designation. Greg has shared his ideas with tens of thousands of people since he began speaking professionally, and he's also served as a consultant and trainer for over 500 organizations throughout the country. He is the founder of the Water the Bamboo Center for Leadership, and his keynotes and seminars provide inspiration and practical skills for individuals and organizations who are seeking to achieve extraordinary results. Greg earned both his political science and his law degrees from the University of Oregon. And we are very proud of him. And it was while he was here as a competitive athlete in basketball that he learned the critical importance of teamwork and great coaching. As a result, he was consistently named the Inspirational Player of the Year throughout his academic and athletic career. Please join me in welcoming Greg Bell.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you, President Schill. Thank you, executive team, board of trustees. I really appreciate being here. Parents, guardians, grandparents, relatives, and friends, thank you for having me here. It's really such an honor. If you told me when I was an 18-year-old freshman that I would one day come back here and be the commencement speaker at this fine institution, I would have believed you. I am insanely optimistic, so much so that of course I would be the keynote speaker at a commencement. It's much like the story of these two twins, Johnny and Bobby. Johnny, he's like me, crazy optimist. Bobby, very pessimistic. He's a negaholic. You know what a negaholic is, right? They complain about everything. Well, it's interesting about this is the parents were concerned about Johnny. He's too optimistic. He thinks he's going to win everything. Bobby thinks he's going to lose everything. So for their birthday, what they decide to do for Bobby is get him a room full of all the games and toys and candy a kid could ever want. But for Johnny, they got him a room full of manure. So they go in to check on Bobby, and you know what Bobby's doing, right? He's complaining about everything. The candy, it's too sweet. The bike, no one will ride with me. The games, no one will play with me. The toys are too shiny. The parents are completely distraught. Until they walk down to Johnny's room, and they see Johnny in a room full of manure, and he's shoveling manure like crazy. He's got his shirt off. He's sweating like out of control, shoveling manure right and left. And they break into the room and they say, Johnny, what are you doing in here? He says, with all this manure in here, there's gotta be a pony in here somewhere. I suggest you look for ponies in your life. Be an optimist. Keep looking for ponies. Sure, there are gonna be challenges in your way. You see, my optimism, I know, is a bit delusional. I understand that. But name me one successful person that isn't a bit delusional. Think about that. As you pursue your career, as you pursue your life, have a bit of delusion about it. Go for it in your life. One of my jobs here is to remind you of a fact, that every single one of you is a miracle. Every single one. When you were born, they said miracle. Okay, at least they should have said miracle. And that's part of really why I wanted to speak to you. The other part is I really wanted to receive a warm applause here in Matt Knight Arena. Thank you. Because honestly, that's really the reason I came. I really think that Emily and Quinn and Kenna just summed it all up. President Schill, I'm good. So I'm going to see you guys later. I'm going to go down and see if I can get a joke book from Frog, and I'll see if I can head down to Taylor's. I know that's where many of you have already been. So we'll see you later. Thank you. Have a good life. No, I think that one of the challenges here is for a commencement speech is I'm supposed to give you life advice, words of wisdom, lessons learned, how to be successful, how to be happy. That is a lot of pressure for a short period of time. But not for Johnny, not for the Optimist. We can get this done. So let's do this, okay? So one of the things I want to have to let you know is I've designed this talk to help you right now. I've designed it to help you for the next 10 days. It's actually going to help you the next 10 years. And if you really listen closely, it'll help you the rest of your life. Got it? Paying attention? So, statistically speaking, you, in fact, are a miracle, right? Do you know that you're 1 in 400 trillion to be who you are? To be a human being, it's 1 in 400 trillion. If you do the math right, that's 1 in infinity. You know, really think about that. So when you look in the mirror, I want you to love what you see. When you're alone, I want you to love the company you keep. And most importantly, be you. So important for you to be you. See, I'm a brother from another planet. You ever see the movie? I was born on another planet. I was born in Texas. Yeah, some Texans here. I was born in a town none of you have ever heard of, and if you've heard of this town, we are probably related. I lived in San Augustine, Texas, East Texas. And in San Augustine, Texas, there's only 2,400 people and a goat. And I'm related to all of them. Yes, including the goat. And what's interesting about that, we lived with my grandfather when I was a child. And we were poor by any measure. I lived in a house that was worth no more than the stage we're standing on. It had no indoor plumbing, which is a funny statement. It had no outdoor plumbing either. It had no plumbing. We were poor and we had no plumbing, but we were rich, spiritually and emotionally, because of my grandfather. My grandfather was an amazing man. He died in 1996, and I really, truly wish you all could have met him. He was incredible. My chore as a child was to run water out to my grandfather as he plowed his field with the mule and the plow. No tractor. He always had a big smile on his face when I came with the water, of course, but he also had a pearl of wisdom to share with me every single time. Living with my grandfather was like living with Socrates, Plato, Aristotle, all in one. And one of the things he told me, he says, you know what's going to help you get out of poverty? He said, there are only 3 things that are going to help you. Do you want to guess what they were? Love, I like that. He said, education, education, education. So important for you. You have to think about education. Even as you're graduating, you got to think about learning. Why? As Eric Hoffer said, in times of change, it'll be the learners that will inherit the earth, while the learned are fully equipped to handle a day gone by. Continue to learn. Continue to learn. Where can you learn? You can learn anywhere. You can learn from your classmates. You can learn from each other. You know, it's interesting when you think about, you've all been to the football games, the basketball games, and the baseball games, and all that. And all of you have done this before, right? Go ahead. Go ahead. Get your O's out. And what's interesting about that for me is, of course, Joey Harrington started that. But you know what that really means for us? Do you guys know what that really means? Being connected to each other. Your connections are super important here. Your connections to the university, the connections to your family are vastly more important than any information you ever have. The information age is over, by the way. You are now in the relationship age. Individuals and organizations that understand this will thrive. Your relationships are critical. I've studied successful people all my life. I want to know why some people are more successful than others. I'm always so curious about that. Why did that team win and that one didn't? Why did that individual strive and win and that one didn't? And what I found to be true in all my work in studying about success is your mindset. It's your mindset. When I wrote my book, Water the Bamboo, that's really what I was trying to get at. What about a person's mindset? Because your mindset will determine so much. Your mindset determines your language. Your language determines how you think. How you think determines what you believe. What you believe will determine the actions you take or don't take. Really think about your mindset. So when I think about this idea of water the bamboo, you all should have your Water the Bamboo bands on, I hope. They were on your chairs. You got them? Good. When I think about water the bamboo, this is really what it means. Giant timber bamboo is one of the most unique plants on Earth. There's 1,500 species of bamboo, but none as remarkable as giant timber bamboo. The bamboo farmers will water giant timber bamboo for a full year. You know what they'll see in a year? Nothing. Pretty motivating, right? 2 years, nothing. 3 years, nothing. 4 years, nothing. But in the 5th year, giant timber bamboo will grow over 90 feet in 60 days. It's 1.5 foot a day. One of the challenges you will have is, while you're watering your bamboo, what will people say to you? What will they say? Never gonna work. Why don't you get a real job? They're gonna tell you all that stuff. You know what you tell them? Tell them to mind their own bamboo. So one question for you is, what was happening that 4 or 5 years before the bamboo took off? What was happening under the ground? It was growing roots. Giant timber bamboo will grow over 100 yards, each stalk, 100 yards. You see, the deep roots that you have with each other, the deep roots you have with your families are important. Growing 90 feet in 60 days does you no good if you don't know what you care about, you don't know what your values are, and you don't know what your relationships are. You have to own that. The most important things about all of you is what's not visible. What are you rooted to? You're rooted to this university. Stay rooted there as you grow your 90 feet in 60 days. So I want to convince you, from the moments I have left with you, I want to convince you all to be bamboo farmers, okay? I want to convince everyone in here to be a bamboo farmer. And those principles are important to follow. The first principle of a bamboo farmer is you must be patient. You have to be patient with yourself. You have to be patient with each other. You have to battle your desire for quick results, because I know it takes a lot of nights to be an overnight success. Keep watering, keep watering. And for some of you who are impatient, what I suggest you do is you plant a cover crop, something on top of your bamboo, so you can eat in the meantime. Does that make sense? Got it? Secondly, you have to be persistent. You see, you don't have to water the bamboo unless you feel like it. Just feel like it every day about 6 a.m. Don't have to do it, you know, you just got to just show up every single day about 6 a.m. This is about being consistent. It's not about drowning the bamboo. It's about watering the bamboo. The third principle is really important. You have to have self-discipline. You see, I hate pandas. I cannot stand pandas. Why do I hate pandas? They eat my bamboo, right? And what's a panda? What do I mean when I say a panda? A panda for you could be a lot of things. Procrastination. Another panda might be texting your buddy while you're driving. Cut it out. That's a panda. It seems small and easy. You've done it before, but it could ruin everything. Watch out for the pandas in your life. There's so many flirts and distractions from your bamboo. You got to stay focused. You only have so much time, money, and energy. Put that into what's really important. But the fourth is super important. You have to be courageous. You have to have courage. French word meaning heart and spirit, courage. Bring your heart and your spirit to your life. Why? Because there are going to be things that are going to challenge you. And fourth, you have to be an optimist, much like Johnny. You have to be an optimist. Super important. And sometimes it's important to be insanely optimistic, thinking that one day you, too, might be the keynote at the commencement in the years in the future. Super important for you to have that in your mind. Now, one way to be an optimist, and I use this every day, I ask myself this question. And I want you to ask yourself this question every single day from this day forward. Ask yourself, what's going well? Even on your worst day, you can find something going well. At the end of the day, I ask myself, what went well? You see, I bookend my days. I start with what's going well. I end with what went well. Why? Because I want to have great days and I want to have great dreams. Most people at the beginning, they start with the news. What does the news show you? All the death and mayhem that you've been dreaming about. And then at night you watch it and it confirms, and then you're wondering why you're having bad days and bad dreams. If you want to have a little more happiness in your life, go on a media diet and ask yourself what's going well in your life, in your immediate area, right where you are. Now it's time for my favorite part of the program. Now that you understand this, you all have your bands on. We're going to have you stand, and we're going to do the water the bamboo oath, okay? Because I have to deputize you all, okay? You got it? All right, raise your band hand. Get your band on, got it? And repeat after me, okay? Repeat after me. No matter what challenges come our way, we will continue to water the bamboo. Thank you very much for having me. I appreciate it.